to the Adventure of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
This is the Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with...
Should I come here? Yeah, you're here. Yeah. This is Phil, the bass player for Taproot, and...
Jared, the drummer of Taproot.
Nice. Here at Aftershock. How many times have you played Aftershock? Ever?
This is our first. Yeah, we took a long hiatus. I'm not sure when Aftershock started, but when we took our hiatus, it was about 2013. That's sort of like our cut type music. It wasn't like exactly the height of it, right? Tail end of what we were doing, and then we took a long break, and now it's kind of on this upswing again. So yeah, we've been able to do I think 4 of the Danny Wimmer festivals this year.
Nice.
Which has been awesome. Yeah, it's been so cool. We did Rockville, Sonic Temple, Louder Than Life, and Aftershock. And this is the last one of the year that we're doing.
Which one do you like best?
Dude, they were all great, honestly.
Right?
They're all run fantastically, but they all have their own little bit of personality and all that.
I like to hear that part because I always ask the artists about how they're treated at a festival, because some festivals are shit shows.
Yes.
And then there's a Danny Wimmer festival.
Yeah.
And all I ever hear is how they treat the artists like, great. And it makes it easy because it's really tough to come into a festival, load in, try to get the sound right and everything. If you have all these tech issues, you don't need that stress before you're performing. And from what I hear, you don't have that with a Danny Wimmer festival.
Yeah, I mean, it's as good as you can get with as many bands as they bring in and with as many people and limited parking. Like we did Louder Than Life recently, and they had a crazy storm. They had to cancel Friday.
I was there.
Yeah, right. We played Sunday, and the weather was fine on our day, but there's still a lot of muddy spots, not a lot of parking, and they still made it work. We still were able to get in. We loaded in. They treated us great, even though it was a bit stressful because we were on a pretty short time crunch. We made it work. It's fantastic.
I love it. Yeah, so I left Florida to avoid that hurricane, and it hit Louisville.
Right.
Who would figure?
Yeah, right.
Who would figure? I'm going to Louisville, and I got hit by a hurricane and missed Slayer.
Yeah, right. That's right. That's right.
So
I heard they killed it last night, though.
Oh yeah, I saw them at Riot Fest 2 because I covered that one. But yeah, they killed it. Tom was having so much fun. That's the key. Okay, so the way I look at it is he was burnt, and that 5 years of doing nothing, he's now got the passion again. And I think you guys been on a long hiatus. Do you think that happened with you? It's like after a while, you get this resurgence of creativity.
Well, it's yeah. I mean, you get away from it so long when you're doing it again, and as long as it's been, and just being away from it, and then with this renewed appreciation for what we did, it's been awesome. I didn't expect it. I didn't know that was going on. Our manager Tom was talking to me about it, and he was like, "Dude, this is the time. You guys are timing this perfectly." And it just happened to work out when Steve was done with his new record, Scissors. So it just worked out great. But it's been awesome. Yeah.
It's been fun too. We have a relatively new guitar player who joined us last year when we kind of reunited and started doing a lot of these things, and he brings a whole new level of energy to it. He was somebody that grew up with a lot of our music, so he was kind of a fan, and he was in another band that we all really respected, and so to kind of have him join us, it really gives us renewed energy. And plus the fact that you've been doing this now after starting 25 years ago, for me, I always tell people it feels like I'm going back in a time capsule when I'm playing these songs that we were first playing 25 years ago. It reminds me of those videos that you see of people when they're, say, in a nursing home or something, or maybe they have Alzheimer's and they sit there and they're pretty silent, but then you play a piece of music from their childhood or and they kind of light up and they get this new energy. There's something about when you hear those songs when you first were attracted to music. It seems like for most people it's around 8th or 9th grade.
Yeah.
a lot of that, whatever music you heard at that time, probably is some of your favorite bands or some of your favorite music, right? For me, it was Metallica. I heard Injustice for All in 88, 89, and so that's still one of my favorite bands. So, like, when you get transported back to that, it's kind of like you feel like a kid again.
Yeah.
Which is really fun. So that's part of what at least I'm feeling, and I think we're all feeling to some degree, too.
See, that's freaking great. I love that because when you're young doing it, you have all this, like, you're excited about it, and, like, you have all this passion. And then after a while, the business can get to you if you let it, you know? And then when you get this resurgence, I think you have a different attitude about it, too. Like, basically, you're more about having fun than chasing the dream, so to speak.
Exactly. Like, we're not doing it. Most of us have jobs. I've got kids. I don't want to be touring. But I love doing this weekend warrior stuff here and there, being able to do it and kind of live that side of it, but still having my home life. Yeah, I never imagined when we stopped, I didn't expect to ever be back. I told Steve to find a new bassist. If you ever go out, I was kind of done. And then with enough time, and then coming back out, and then seeing how a lot of the same faces plus new faces, it's really renewed my passion for it and my appreciation for what we do. And again, I'm not out there trying to make make it real big. I don't want to be in a giant band anyway. I like what I've got. I like the crowds we play to, and it's a lot less pressure. We just go out there, we play. It's not critical for my livelihood. That's the other piece. When at the tail end of our first big run of 15 years, that's the only thing I did. So when we weren't making money, I could barely make ends meet. Yeah. Living on couches for a while, that kind of thing. So now it's just extra fun, extra money. It's fine. And it's really not about the money. It's helpful. We got to make money to make it work. Yeah. I don't want to lose money doing this, but thankfully the music industry is at a point where we're able to make it work. And, we play it smart. We drive our own vehicles around home. We're not in some big old bus. We're not spending a lot of money, but we make it work. It's awesome.
I love it because, to me, that's the dream life right there, what you're describing. Because what people think is the dream life is sometimes like a fucking nightmare. And you've lived it, and it's like people look at you and all they see is what they see. They don't see all the other bull that goes around it. So when you're just having fun and doing it because of the passion of music, not only do you feel better, but we can tell in the audience. I can look up at bands and I can tell, yeah, they're not into this right now, Or it's wow. When I was looking at Tom, I'm like, wow, he's having the fucking best time like he's a kid again, So.
Yeah, I've talked to fans, and they've said that about us. You guys look like you're having fun up there. You guys look like you're having a really good time. I love having Jared back in the band because Jared hasn't been in the band since 2008.
Wow.
And so he came back out for this. We played a show here and there, some hometown stuff. But for him to be playing consistent with us again, it's such a good energy that we had at the beginning, and our other drummers were great too. But there's just something about Jared. He's the original member, Right. There's something about that with him.
And he's smiling the whole time during the interview, so that says a lot, because, if you're smiling during the interview, you're having fun.
Well, and what's funny? There's something about I was talking about original members and why that is something to some people. I had somebody was saying, "Oh, it's great to have you back" or whatever. And I said, "Well, yeah, but the other drummers were great too. So what is it?" And they said, "Okay, well, who are some of your favorite drummers?" And I said, "Oh, Neil Peart from Rush and Carter Beaufort from Dave Matthews Band." And they said, "Okay," and they know I'm a big Deftones fan. So they said, if you were going to go watch the Deftones, would you want to see any of those drummers play the drums other than Abe Cunningham, the original drummer? And I said, no, I wouldn't. I'd want to see Abe. So that's what it is. And I can't put my finger on why we want to see the original members, but I think part of it is music is such an important part of our lives that part of we like the idea that, oh, cool, those people, Phil and I were friends first. We met at orientation at college.
Nice.
And there's something about that energy that's there, right? When you see a band that you love on stage, having a good time together, it makes you feel good. And I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just because we humans like to see oh, cool, after all these years, there's humans that are interfacing and liking what they do, and that makes me feel good.
And it's familiar.
Like that, right?
And it's familiar and nostalgic. Right. You were talking about Metallica. We had Slayer here. I went to their first shows ever. Yeah. So to me, if Dave Lombardo's not drumming, is it Slayer? And that might not go over well over the air, but I mean, that's my nostalgia. Hanging out with them outside the country club, the whiskey, the troubadour, and it was Jeff, Kerry, Tom, and Dave.
Right.
That to me was Slayer.
That's Slayer, yeah.
For the same reason you're saying, not that Bostap's not a great drummer.
Yeah.
It's just even Maiden's going to be playing.
Yeah.
I love Bruce, but I'm Team Di'Anno because Killers is my favorite fucking album, okay, of Maiden. I get what you're saying because from my point of view, I can totally see it. Even with Metallica. I saw him with Dave Mustaine, so I'm still on the... I should have kept Dave in the band.
That's tough for you.
I know, like, I've always said to myself, because I was in that whole scene, I'm like, Alcoholica, because that's what we called them.
Yeah.
Kicked Dave out because he was an alcoholic. That makes sense. Like, how bad of a rager was he to get kicked out of Alcoholica for drinking, you know?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like, and then when you're young, too, you have these experiences. Like, Mustaine came out to me after a show and, like, starts talking to me. So that's what you remember.
So where was that?
Fuck, in L.A. somewhere to Woodstock or something.
That's crazy. That's
something
awesome.
like that.
You're old school.
Oh, yeah.
That's rad.
So, funny, I've told this story a lot, but since you brought it up, like, about where it was and what happened, I think I was like 15. They play, I'm like, oh my God. Like, because there was nothing like that at the time. Like, the heaviest shit in LA was Motley Crue, to be honest.
Yeah.
And, you know, so he comes out, sits at the bar, I'm sitting there, and he just starts talking to me. I'm like, wow. And he hands me his business card. It says Metallica, Power Metal. There wasn't a thrash yet. Dave Mustaine.
Love it.
And I'm like, fuck, that's cool. But then I threw out the card.
I was going to say, you still got the card?
No, I threw it out like a fucking idiot, man. You know, but there's so many iconic memories is my point that you have when that band was original members, and I think that's what people associate to it. Like, those were the good times, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it probably feels the same way for you guys, too, right? You know, it's like, that was the good times, and now whatever went on all through the years, those good times are back again. And there's a comfort there. It's like an old pair of jeans, you know, when you get back together. Like, when you guys start doing this now, was it really hard to get back on the bike? Like, was there, or did you just get up there and just play?
Yeah, it was. It's funny, like all the old stuff. For me, the first 3 records, I can play almost any song at any time.
Because you probably played it like 2 million times.
And some of the newer hits from our later albums, like I was like, oh my God, how does this go again? There are songs I hadn't played in 20-some years that I could play better than some of the songs I've played more recently. It's funny how it works that way. I don't know.
It is a trip, though. It is, because, like, you think about it. You take that song, that's your old song, like, you don't even have to practice because you probably already played it 1 million times.
Yeah, that muscle memory kicks in. And sometimes when I was relearning some of the stuff, when it clicks, I'd be trying to play it in the wrong spot. I'm like, the note's here, but it's not the right place, you know? And then you find the spot that you play it, and it's like, oh, yeah.
There it is.
That's it. There it is. And it'll just come. Like, as I'm playing, all of a sudden it's just like, there's even songs we'd played live a few times. I just never quite felt right until I played it in the right, you know, the old position I used to play. I'm like, oh, yeah. This is right. This is where it goes.
Very cool. Anything else that you guys have coming up that we want to tell the listeners, or do you have any more plans for Aftershock?
So we had a couple of shows. We're down in Bakersfield and then San Diego this run, and then we got a few weeks off. Like I said, we're only doing kind of weekend warrior stuff. We're a couple of hometown shows. We're ending the year with some shows at the Machine Shop in Flint, Michigan. And then after that, we're going to take a little break. We got some stuff next year, but nothing we can announce yet. And then, you know, just going to add on to next year and mostly take the winter off, though. Enjoy some time off. So our listeners, how do they connect with you guys so they can find out what's going to be coming up next year? We got all this stuff, you know, Instagram and Facebook are probably the 2 main ones we use. We all have our own individual ones, but plus we just started a fan VIP list thing that you can sign up for. That we haven't done too much with it yet, but we've got a lot of things we're planning for it. We just haven't, you know, we've just been so busy with everything. But once we get a break, I'm going to start focusing on that. So there's some really cool stuff there. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm glad you guys were here at Aftershock. Badass and Louder and Welcome to Rockville and Sonic Temple
And I hope we see more of you next year at the festivals. And thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Oh yeah, thank you, man. We hope so too.
Yeah, thanks for having us. It was fun. Appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.